Welcome to Keyframers, the animated collaborative coding live stream where we bring imaginative user interfaces to life. I'm your host, Stephen Shaw, but you may know me as @Shashaw.
And I'm your host, David K. Piano, also known as David.
Yes, both of those. Together we are coding compadres, animation amigos, Boolean buddies, and keyframe companions.
Yeah, so we're going to be continuing on our last episode from last week, which is a music app example, and we're going to be working on this animation from scratch live using HTML, CSS, and some JavaScript.
That's right. The show is made possible by your support. You can pledge at patreon.com/keyframers or hit the like and subscribe buttons around this video wherever you're watching. We do have additional links below.
Yeah, and of course, we're happy to answer any questions you may have. So please reach out in the chat right there or the comments.
Yes,
right.
Whichever's more convenient for you.
Yeah.
Let me get a few things.
Going the wrong way.
Shut down here. So let's see here, David. There's a little bit of news on your front, right? We got a little.
Yeah, I finally released something.
Nice.
So a lot of you may know me as the state machine person, I think. I don't know. I do a lot of state machine stuff, and I talk about state machines a lot on the Keyframers. And so I worked day and night, mostly night, on a visualization tool for these state machines. And now I made it so that you could share these state machines anywhere with anyone at any time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got that example pulled up, so that's pretty cool. You can just kind of dive right in, share that with everyone. Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you're interested in state machines, Xstate is definitely what you want to check out versus the patchwork version that we do each episode.
Yeah. So the reason we do patchwork is because we want to show you how to make these animations from scratch as much as possible. We will sometimes use some light libraries or useful libraries, but not libraries that sort of do everything for you. No, it's sort of you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make a horse animate stuff. I forget how that saying goes, but it's something like
that sounds exactly right to me. Yeah, I think that's the saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so xstate.org/viz. You'll want to check that out. Link is in the chat there. Awesome. So yeah, we're kind of continuing from last week for this week. Oh, I'm sorry. I totally made a point to write down a pun. So here it goes. David, can you give us the X State of the Union?
Oh,
all right. Now we can move on. Okay. Just needed to get that out there. All right. So we're continuing from last week where we built most of the kind of central pieces of this music interaction animation origami animation by Jingam on Dribbble. That link is in the chat for you to check out. And you can watch part 1 on YouTube. We've got that up. So if you're curious about how we got to where we got to, which is right here, you can watch part 1, and I'll link that code as well, because that's all worth looking at. So and we're kind of forking off of that original code, so that original code will stay as is, so you can enjoy that and study that with the video.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So today we talked a little bit before about what we wanted to do today. What are the main things you want to focus on, David?
Well, let's get a little more reactive. Let's start actually having touch events do more than what they're doing right now. Right now, Swiping left and right is the same as if you were to press left or right or click, into something. But let's actually make it move stuff like it's an actual live native app. And this is something that is actually going above and beyond what's shown in the original animation, because as awesome as the original animation is, it looks like it was done in some actually it was done in Origami Studio, which does allow for that full
that's what the origami's for. Okay.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Were you wondering?
I was wondering how this animation reflected origami. It doesn't really feel
right. No, it's made in Origami Studio, and Origami Studio is a design prototyping tool made by Facebook, actually, and it's a really, really cool tool because it brings you as close to code as prototyping can get you, I feel, without actually having to code. And it does so by just having a really visual interface and these things called patches, where you sort of link to them with these spaghetti noodle type wires, and you could connect certain things to each other, like saying, if I tap here and I pan here, then that means I go here. And I'll actually include a link to it if anyone is interested. Yeah. I've been inspired a lot by Origami Studio. It's been used for many years, and it's sort of a more advanced tool, which is why you won't see too many designers or developers using it, but definitely quite a few, and there's definitely a strong community around origami. So, yeah. You could also play around with prototypes live on Android or iOS. It's a really cool tool. So even if you are not planning on doing any prototyping, it's just great to get inspiration from the things that people make with Origami Studio.
Yeah, it looks pretty rad.
Yeah. Definitely not a new tool, though.
No. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Framer, eat your heart out.
So mainly kind of upping the interaction with the touch events, or making it feel a little more native. So yeah, that's definitely on the list. One thing I wanted to do was simplify the state machine logic a little bit. Like right now we've got the delta X in there, and like in the state machine listeners, I wanted to clean that up a little bit, and had a few ideas on that.
All right. I don't know how you could get much simpler than this, but
well, so basically, let's see. So I'm gonna start on that. Hello in the chat, by the way. Thanks for joining us, all y'all.
Hi.
So let's just say pan right, pan up, pan down. So we're using Hammer.js for the kind of touch tracking, the drag tracking. And what that does is allows us to more easily do these, rather than setting up the event listeners for each, like touch start, touch end, mouse down, all that. Yes, this is the hokey pokey. And so what I'm doing here is I'm setting up a last direction equal, I guess that can just be empty. So we'll say last direction equals event.type.replace pan. And so down here in our pan end event listener, we will send transition, let's see, current state, transition, current state. Instead of event, we'll do last direction. Wait.
First, let's see if maybe the event has some stuff that we could use.
So yeah, I was looking at that.
Does it?
Yeah, the Hammer documentation shows that direction comes through, but it's using constants registered to Hammer. So like direction left equals 2, direction right equals 4, up equals 8. And I think this will be a just much cleaner, easier approach.
All right, fair enough.
And actually, I think we could remove, replace pan. So last direction, we're setting that, and then, yeah. All right, so let's give that a try. So back up in our state machine that we set up last time. So under genre, instead of on pan end, we'll go on pan right. Is that the direction?
Sure.
We'll try that. And then on pan right for playlist, we'll return song. And on pan left, event, return genre. And then same down here on pan left, return playlist. And then we don't even need the event, but we could pass that in if we really wanted to.
By the way, don't be alarmed by the opacity changing when you pan. That's just a visual cue that we're actually panning.
Okay.
I'm planning something there.
All right, I'm with you. Okay, that is currently not working, so open up the dev tools and let's do some logging. So let's say on pan end console.log. Whoa, what just happened? And then console.log, last direction, and then we'll do current state as well so we can see what's happening. All right, so pan end, pan left. Okay, so the direction actually corresponds to the way the mouse or touch is moving. So pan right, this would be pan left, pan right. All right, give that a try. Pan left, playlist. Okay. That does seem to be triggering the right. Let's see. No transition, current state, last direction. Oh, let's go back to the transition event. Okay, so this needs to be new state or something like that. Or what would it be? On event, something like that. Type of event equals to function. Turn to event or state. Okay, that's what we needed. Okay. So yeah, that's working now. And so what this opens up is allowing us to register the pan up, pan down interactions as well a lot more easily. So we could register that for the playlist view, for example, but not the genre view, or at least changing the way those work on those two different views.
Mm-hmm.
You with me?
I'm with you.
All right. So yeah, it's working. All right. And so David added that little opacity deal.
Just a little bit of movement.
Right. Let's see, data panning. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I see what's happening.
Yeah.
All right. One of the things we set up last time is adding in these dx and dy variables. So anytime that the panning starts, it updates these variables showing the distance the pan has traveled. So that's why this genre title up there and playlist is moving with the mouse, and David is plugging in the additional CSS needed for the way the images
it's a lot of sort of mathy stuff, but it's not too hard to oh wow. this playlist thing. Maybe I don't have the math quite right, but go back and forth. That's a lot of fun.
So yeah, dx there is a pixel value.
Yes.
So you probably want that to be a lot less.
Oh
overall.
man, I wish we had absolute values, but 1,000.
Oh yeah, if you're panning the other way, it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make it rotates to whatever. Just gonna leave that out for now. But basically, yeah. So when we go from playlist to song, song. Wait, which way did I? Yeah, if you go from playlist to song, now you'll see that they move according to which direction you go. So
Nice.
except it sort of has that bounce back, which might want to let's see, transition.
Before we get too far, let me do something. I think I'm on the wrong account here. Code pen. Not there. Let me open it up here. All right. Pause on the coding for just a moment. Bless you. Okay. Let me get that copied over.
What are you doing?
Yes. Hold on. Don't code for a moment.
Okay.
I'm on my own account, not the keyframers there. So
10x coder, just not coding. And yes, I did just that. I also sneezed. Great.
okay, just a moment. Let me. Okay. All right. I think it's okay. Let me refresh over here and make sure that our code is all in place. Yep. All right. Oh yeah. This. Let's see. Our state machine can be simplified even further just by.
No.
Why do you get worried when I simplify?
I do. Deleted code is debugged code, and I rely on bugs to, make a living. Because the more bugs there are, the more work there is for me to do.
Something like that. All right. So that makes things even simpler. Okay.
All right, can we get back to code?
Yes, you should be.
Except my changes are gone.
Your changes are gone? Really?
Yes.
Where?
Let's see. Data panning song. Wait. No, they're there. Just kidding.
Okay.
We're good. False alarm.
Freaking me out here. Okay.
All right. So yeah, on data panning, we want whatever is going to be affected by the pan, we want transition to be none. And that's because we're controlling the position of these things via the pan events, not via CSS transitions. So,
right.
So now you can see when you're going from playlist to song, it should be smooth. See that? So now playlist to genre is smooth. Playlist to song is also pretty smooth. So you can even tweak those further.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's cool. All right, so what you did there, so 157, we've got the transition on pointer events none. Where did you set up and data panning? We've got the song, translate x, dx times 0.2 pixels. So basically, not having it follow directly with the mouse, but just a little bit slower.
Right.
So that it doesn't shuffle off. If you change that to 1 pixel, you'll see. Oh, that's too quick.
And it gives the user just a way to really feel like something is going to happen.
Right.
So, of course, this should all probably. Well, actually, no. Song lives outside everything right, I'm assuming.
Uh,
Songs, no, wait. Songs are copy pasted in each. No, they're not.
right. Each song. So playlist is probably more what you want to animate there, or what you want to transition.
Nah, we'll keep it at song, just because we could do individual transforms and other fun stuff over there. So.
Yeah.
Or we could animate the entire screen. I don't know.
Yeah. There's a lot of things we can do there. Let's see.
Let's see. Let's see what that would look like. So let's say I'm in data playlist and we're data panning, and we say data screen equals playlist. So when we're in the playlist state and we're panning from the playlist state, we want to let's see what happens if we move the entire data screen playlist the same as the song. So, and I'm doing this in two separate things just so we could see what happens over there. And you can see, yeah, we have case study move, and yeah, everything moves. But actually, we probably don't want case study to move unless we're. Oh man, I wish we had absolute value. CSS and other fun things like that.
Yeah, so that was a big debate I had last week after we finished the episode. Just trying to find a way to calculate the absolute value of a CSS variable, and that is not easy. Away. But what we can do, because we're
just sticking with CSS.
Well,
or the JavaScript.
Right, because we're setting that in the JavaScript anyway. Let's go ahead and we can set math.absolute event delta y, and this will give us a full value. However, that's gonna we need an additional value to set the direction.
Why are things going the opposite way now?
Because we're doing the absolute value of dx and dy.
All right. Yeah, let's not do it there.
Okay, what were you thinking?
Let's not worry about delta x and delta y. We need those negative values, basically.
Yeah, or we need the true.
Otherwise, it's going to look really weird. All right, so now we have the songs and albums and everything moving between playlist and genre, and so there's one left to do, which is song. And so we could just do that real quick here. So we have data state equals playlist. We could copy and paste this data panning and here, this right there, and go into song. And so the reason these are all the same and we didn't just do it for all data panning is if we want different behavior for each screen. But I think that's good so far. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm liking that.
Although I would like to do something with like the rotation of the images as we're going from, like, lessen the effect of them. You know what I'm saying? Like when we're going from playlist to song and we drag or we pan left, then they should like slowly straighten out.
Right, or slowly start curving as you go back from song.
Exactly. Yeah.
So. Right. So let's see. Data panning. So we want image here. So we would say calculate var offset. So our offset is the amount, basically the index difference between that and the selected item. So like if we've got this banana album selected, the offset of the one right above it is -1. The one above that is -2, and so on. So that's what increases that rotation. Right in here, we've got our rotation calculated by var offset. So this one's 25 degrees. This one would be 50 degrees, or negative. So what we would want to do here is -25 degrees times var offset times var dx divided by 100-ish. It's probably what we want. Let's see. RDX. Am I missing parentheses? or I have too many parentheses. I can never tell. Okay, there we go. All right, so in our data playlist state, when panning, yeah, they're starting to, yeah, that's pretty good. Can probably up that a little bit if we wanted, so that they're, yeah. And then we do the same thing down in the song state, just a little bit differently. Let's see, song, data panning, image, rotate. Let's see, we got this is actually what we want. Do that first, and then a little bit of rotation from there. Let's see how that, yeah, they're starting to fan out, so that's good.
Oh, are you applying this to the images themselves?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's just the images themselves that they get rotated.
So that's song, and the images are inside the songs.
The song is a container for the whole thing, like the song details and all of that. That was one of the things with the data screen. That song content should really just be in the song above.
Yeah. So I just removed the transition when you're data panning on those images, so that it doesn't like have that delayed.
Oh yeah.
But now it looks a little fun.
Yeah. Okay. So that's probably not the right values then.
I mean, it is fun to play with.
A little bit.
Actually, it's a lot of fun.
Wow. That feels extreme. Okay, 25 degrees times var offset. So what we might want to do is plus like 10 degrees times RDX times that, and it gets ugly when doing calc and all of these transform functions. So I try and let's see. Whoa. It's 10 degrees times var dx. That's still yeah, that's not what we want. Okay, 10 degrees times var dx. Let's see. Okay, that's better for the playlist side. The song side is still a little funny. Let's see. Okay, so for the song, let's do something similar. Okay, so that should be a little bit better. Whoa, not quite. Okay.
Oh, math. Seems like we do a lot of math in these episodes.
Unfortunately, yes.
Hey, math's not that bad.
Oh, I'm forgetting an operation in there. That helps. So, okay, that's not right. So we can probably do... Actually, we
Hold on, I'm about to break something.
Leave that off. Leave that off. Things are breaking. Yes.
Yep. No, everything's fixed.
Okay.
You can no longer blame me.
Uh,
I mean, you still can.
yeah,
But-
probably will. Here, okay.
I'm just moving some stuff in the JavaScript, so just to harsh your mellow. ruin your flow.
Okay, it's working.
Yeah, like I only wear Lacoste says this very much feels like that. Remember the iPod cover flow? Do you remember iPods? I would still buy an iPod to this day.
Those are the things that go in your ears, and there's like a stick that hangs down.
No.
Oh, it goes in your eye, like the AirPod, but
listen through your eyeballs.
Oh, augmented reality.
It's a cool thing that kids are doing nowadays.
Okay, that's kind of cool. So data panning. I'm almost wondering if we need the direction in data panning. Like
if you want, just
rather than setting data panning equals true, we could set data panning equals event.type.replace pan, and then that should give us pan left, pan right. So
that's one way to do it, and that's the way that I would recommend us doing it. Another way that we could do it is adding more states, like genre to playlist, like those intermediate states, like playlist to song to playlist, playlist to genre. But let's not do that. Let's do what you're doing.
Okay, so so what that would mean is down here in our data state equals playlist. So what I do is kind of copy this. We don't need a song. Let's see, that image should really be within song there, just to be a little better. So what we would do, data panning equals left, I think. Let's just do background red for fun to see. No, that's not doing anything. Did I mess something up? Well, okay, there's a missing curly brace somewhere. Or maybe an extra one that doesn't need to be there. This is very difficult to trace. That nope. Let's see. Okay, sure, that explains it. Image. Okay, yeah, that is the right. All right, so that's not the direction we want. Let's see. Ooh. Okay. Data panning equals left. Let me see if that value is even getting set. Data panning undefined left. Oh. When replacing, you apparently need to input a null string there. That's important. Yeah, okay. That got it. All right, so data panning equals left is what we want there. And so what we're going to do is make that more like negative 25 degrees so that they're going to stack up on top of each other as we pan left. Nope. We want pan right. That's what we want. Okay, so that, and then, yeah. Yeah, you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Not bad, not bad.
Nice. Got all that math out of the way. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's tricky.
All right. Let's see. Let me back here. And okay. Did you do pan up and pan down? Okay. It looks like
I'm working on that. The problem is with Hammer right now. So Hammer, annoyingly enough, by default, panning up and panning down are a little bit wonky, and that's because panning up and panning down is also associated with scrolling, and so it sort of takes a safe approach and says like, oh, maybe you don't want pan up and pan down. Maybe you really want just pan left and pan right. But that's of course not always what we want. So I'm going to add a little thing to our freaking hammer. Let's see, where's our hammer? Hammer, new hammer, and get pan.set. And I'm just copying and pasting this code at this point. Okay, so now it should work. So you see how when you, darn it.
So pan down seems to work, or
really pan up works for me.
Okay, pan up. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Not.
Weird.
Great. Okay, let's see what's going on here. So we have hammer threshold 0. I'm going to put the threshold to 2. And so what the threshold is in hammer is it's just a way of saying like only start figuring out which direction you're going when you move your pointer device X number of pixels. Oh, that's why. So, okay, try it now. Except they're going the wrong direction. Sorry about that. So, pan down.
Yeah, that's working. What?
And up.
What did you change?
So what I changed was the whole. What did I change? I added some stuff.
The threshold, or is it?
Yeah, I added the threshold, and that way we don't get any accidental like panning left, panning right when we're trying to do pan up and pan down. And so now the last part to do is to get that delta Y value, which we already have, and add that to our data panning. So when we're in the playlist, we could say translate Y, calc there dy, and multiply it by the same coefficient, or not coefficient, constants, whatever. Actually, no, don't want to do that. So this is one of those instances where the behavior is going to differ between between states. So we want to translate X, the song, and we want to do your cool little rotation thing that you did. But when we go up or down, we want that to affect the overall rotation, if that makes sense. So I need some math help.
Okay, let's see.
So we're going to be basing it on the delta Y as well.
Okay, so in the playlist, changing the rotation based on the delta Y.
Yeah, so we just need to do plus something. Right. And that plus something is with delta Y. So
it will probably be about the same as this. Let's see. So data state equals playlist. Data panning, right? Okay, dy. Let's not do anything. Is there a plus already there? Okay, there we go.
So right now I'll just do it for the song view. Y, translate Y.
25 degrees is what we want. Whoa. Okay, that's wrong direction. So maybe negative 25. Divided by 200. That's so the. Let's see.
So it does work with the songs if you want a little proof of concept.
Nice. Yeah. I like that. So yeah, it gets a little complicated here because the way the rotation is handled. Let's see. Let's do a separate rotation. And just see how that will change it. Does it need to be negative? Negative is kind of doing it.
Nice. By the way, distance gives us our absolute value distance. That could be useful.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's it. So we don't want. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you check it out, that should be working. How's that looking?
It's good. Man, this is fun. I really want to see how this looks like on an actual touch device because,
Yeah.
And so we could also tweak the behavior. For example, when we're in the song view and we pan left, we probably don't want that to do any sort of rotation because that looks a little bit weird.
Right. That's one thing I was looking at as well. So in
like
data state equals song, this could
attribute.
just be data panning equals left, I think is the directions I'm getting all confused with. Okay, no, that needs to be right. That's what we want. Whoa. Are you changing the job? Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, that does it. Right. Yeah, that's cool. Whoa.
You set those values. Weird. Okay, I was doing like a little threshold thing.
Yeah, I wonder, this would probably be a great opportunity for that CSS var technique that Suzanne wrote about. Using CSS variables to basically control transforms, gradients, all that kind of stuff. That would be interesting. Let me just paste the link to that article. I don't know that we'll have time to get into that today, but that would be helpful to repeat a little bit less. Like if we, see how we have the rotate 25 degrees var offset repeated a few different times. We could basically override that. That'd be nice.
All right, check it out. So now if you pan left a tiny amount, nothing happens. It just goes back. So you have to really be intentional with your actions. And so that's on purpose.
Nice.
That's to make sure that you actually wants to do what you want to do. Otherwise, yeah, it's a no op. So I'll just make that 50 to make it a bigger effect.
Where did you adjust that?
So I adjusted that in the JavaScript. All I had to do was on pan end.
Right.
Yeah. I just had, if event.distance is less than 50, then do nothing. So we really have to move at least 50 pixels in order to get anywhere. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
But we still have that nice responsiveness of it working. Yeah, that's cool. Right, so essentially a threshold in a different sort of way. Okay. Let me see, going back to the original animation.
And what we could actually do is maybe a little bit of flipping.
Little flipping?
Yeah, because we have that animation for the case study between playlist and song, and so we could just throw a little bit of that on there.
Yeah. So what I was thinking.
There's something else you want to look at.
Let me see. I'm just going back and looking at the original animation. So what we would want to do there is move this content into the actual song, right? And then when we're transitioning from each state, like transitioning from playlist to song, the like lyric paragraphs there, class equals song lyrics, that would shift it. Actually, we can avoid that for the moment if you just if we want to do data flip key equals title, song title. Look at us, pair programming.
Wow. Right in sync.
Data flip key
like the band.
Artist. Hoop.
Artist. Boom. And then I already have flipping loaded in, so all I have to do is const flipping equals new flipping, and we could adjust the duration or whatever there. And then when we actually change it, which is when we send the event, when does that happen? Oh yeah, this transition. Transition is called, and then current state equals. Okay, so yeah, that's what we do. So instead of this event, we could just do flipping.wrap and wrap that entire function up in that flipping thing. And it works. Sort of.
Yeah, so do we need something for the lyrics? Or like a...
Probably. So for the lyrics, we could just have that slide. So we could just add an animation or a transition onto that. Just like, I don't know if you saw, but I added that transition to Singer Chosen Radio in the genre screen. And so we could do something similar to the lyrics over there.
Yeah, what happens if we do this with like an empty div transitioning to the full div? Is that going to break flipping? I'm curious here.
Nothing breaks flipping. Also, by any chance, do we have a data active on these screens?
The screens, yes, do have data active being applied.
Down
here.
Perfect. Because in flipping, I have to. This is also the version 1 of flipping. I'm still slowly working on version 2, which is going to be so much simpler. But with this one, you could actually say, here is how you know whether an element is active or not. Active being like it's the current one.
Yeah.
So, let me just figure out how I did that.
Okay, so something kind of weird when you're on the song view and you're panning through the songs, it triggers that strange kind of animation, even though that should already be in place.
Oh, it keeps going from...
Yeah, it keeps going from that original.
Okay, yeah, so that's the thing I'm working on right now with the flip technique, just figuring out how to tell, like, here is what it means to have the active selector be. Anyway, don't worry about it.
Cool.
I will figure it out. Or my name isn't David.
David K. Piano. All right. Pan down.
Aha! Okay, I think I got it. So just 1 second. Active selector, L, return L dot matches, data active.
There you
are. Okay, now it's smooth. See?
Yeah, there we go.
And so what I did there, and this is the old API, by the way, so don't really take this hard. I'm just telling flipping, this is what it means for an element to be hidden or not. So now instead of it's figuring out like whether something is supposed to be the active element, you tell it. You say, all right, if it's under this data active thing, then it's active. Otherwise, it's not, and you could hide it or whatever. So, and we could give that a duration of like 800. 800 being 800 milliseconds because milliseconds are the de facto way to do things.
Right, so back in data state equals song, we would want to add song lyrics, capacity 1, transform, translate y0, capacity 0, transform, translate y, 50%, and transition all bar duration bar ease, and let's just see if that works really quick. Yeah, that's working. But it probably needs to be 100%, and that works. Let's see, what is our duration though? Because it seems like 0.6 and 0.8. So why is that? Oh, I guess in flipping we should adjust that to be 600 so that it matches. There we go. Yeah, very cool. Panning. I'm going to take off that opacity 0.5 on the panning there. Nice. Okay. Feeling pretty good.
It's looking great.
Mm-hmm.
Now we could just see tab panning.
What are you doing?
Wait. So do you have the thing? All right. So when it's panning, that data attribute, you could say it's panning left or panning right.
Correct.
So
or up or down.
Would it just be left or would it be pan left?
Data panning equals left, like that.
Aha. Okay, so I could really target this because, for example, in the playlist view, I want the contents to move only when it's going in a certain direction. So that's really cool that you added that because, I did the wrong direction. So if we're panning to the right, then which means we're going back to genre, then it should move. But otherwise, it shouldn't move. Aha.
Right.
That's super cool. And then actually this should move at a greater rate. So that's why these 0.3 pixels, 0.2 pixels, this is something that you almost never see in CSS, these very fractional pixel units, because you might be thinking, how could something be less than a pixel? Well, besides the fact that your browser rendering engine does do that sub-pixel rendering type of thing, we're using this in a mathematical way. So we're taking this raw CSS variable, such as dx or dy, and we're multiplying it by that fraction. And we're also converting it to pixels at the same time. So that's why it might seem a little bit weird, but that's the way things go.
Yeah.
And in fact, we could even use this var dx and say opacity calc, and then take that var bar, however you pronounce it, and let's divide that by whatever our threshold was, so 50. So we could say when we're going to the, oh wait, maybe I did that wrong. All right, so
50 divided by dx.
No. Well, sorry. That works. No, does it? No. Oh, sorry. We want calc var dx plus. No, shoot. 50 minus. Yeah, 50 minus var dx. I'm confusing myself right now. Right now, I'm just trying numbers until something works.
Yeah, that does it.
I want it to disappear. You see how it disappears?
Yeah.
And if we're going the other way, it doesn't disappear. And so we could make this like, let's say 100, and that way you have to, it won't fade out all the way until you really, really, really pan your device. So it's really cool.
Yeah. And we're just kind of using basically pixel values here. What would probably be wiser is to update the CSS variables to make dx and dy relative to the actual height of the element.
Absolutely, like in a fractional way. So you could say we could have like a vx and vy. Is that what you said? Or
dx and dy is
like, let's imagine an imaginary vx and vy where vx would be what percentage of the width of the app did you move?
Right.
Like 50%, 25%, negative 25%, and vy would be that, but relative to the height. So
yeah, that's pretty cool.
We have some fun interactions.
Yeah. Let's see. Any other little pieces you'd like to knock out?
No. So at this point, it's just styling to your heart's content and making it look really nice.
Right. There's so many great little details, like the fading of the images and this little dot kind of navigation. That'd be good to add if we could.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And yeah, the genre and stuff there.
Yeah. Oh, I want that red color. They didn't give us the red color. You know what? I'm going to pick my own red color. Let's do EE000 or E00, whatever. I don't know. I'm just trying to. There was this game that I saw where, or I think this was a game. If it wasn't, then we have to make it a game. But it showed you a color, and you had to try to guess what that color was in hex value.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah.
Not easy.
No, it's not, but it's fun, so you don't have to use a color picker and try to do all that stuff on your own. Right. Whatever, let's make this like 5 pixels with 5 pixels. Background. I'm gonna say E00. Let's see how that looks. Oh. Display inline block. Great. And have a little margin of right.
The cost in the chat. One important feature for users on the free plan is to play a random song instead of the one they click on. It's is an annoyance.
Yeah, so we could add stuff like that. Panic 0. Get rid of the default styles here. Just have that over there. And margin lets me make that one round, just so it's a little bit All right. Yeah. You just have it nice and styled.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah, the dot nav I was referring to is that in the top left there?
Yeah, that'd be in the top left.
Yeah, let's do that real quick. That shouldn't take long at all. Class equals screen nav, and we'll have let's see, should that be a UL or
should anything be a UL?
I mean, it's technically an OL. Li dot screen nav dot is 3.
We can just styles for that.
Let's see. Well, and let's see, we'll do this just at the bottom here. Did you start styling that at all?
No.
Okay. So screen nav. We'll do this.
The top left, you
Position, absolute, yeah, top. 1M, left, 1M. And then screen nav dot. That will just be display block width 1M, height 1M, border radius 50%. What was your red color? Background.
Hashtag E00.
E00? Okay.
Yes. E00.
Right. So screen nav. List. Screen nav list. Margin 0. Padding 0. List style. Type none. Screen nav dot. List styling is always a bit of a pain. All right, screen nav list. Display flex. Sure. Get them all side by side, and then we'll do. Let's see. Font size 6. And then let's bump up the Z index there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Margin right 0.5. Spaced out a little bit, and then okay. So data screen nav dot. So this would be, let's see, data screen equals genre. Actually, should this go inside data screens and then data active would be applied? Will that work with our?
Not sure.
So let's see, L screens for each. L screen, if L screen data set screen equals current state, data active true. Yeah, so that in theory will work. I'll drop that in there. And data screen equals play list. Data screen equals song. All right. And so, let's see where those dots went. They seem to have disappeared. Screens, screen nav, it's there.
What size are your dots?
1M.
Oh, 1M?
Yeah.
All right. I want to match those. Oh my God. Oh, 1M. All right. So you see the difference? 1M for me is huge in the genre view.
In the genre view?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Because yeah, they're technically technically their 0.6 rim is the true size there.
So confusing.
Okay, so I think what the issue is data screens. Let's see, what is it? Screens. Z index 50. Okay, so data screen. Where is all of that? Data screen. Visibility hidden. Okay, so that's the deal. We don't want visibility hidden. We want, oh goodness, where am I? Visibility visible. And then if it is and data active, it will be opacity 1. Border radius M. Dead active. So otherwise it will be opacity 0.5, let's say. Background number A. Something like that.
Oh, nice.
And we'll just transition. Background var duration here. Just for fun there. And then, yeah, that actual width transition, how would you normally handle that?
The width transition. Just animate width.
So,
Serious.
Yeah,
so we would animate width here because layout animations are expensive unless we we isolate it to a very small part. Yeah. So I would say that they're safe to do here, or safe-ish. I mean, it looks great, and it's such a small part of the app that it's not even really noticeable. And there's something called CSS containment, which might also be able to help us. But anyway, don't just assume that animating width or height is going to destroy your performance, because you might find out that you might still get 60 frames per second, even if you are animating those layout values.
Right. The position absolute definitely helps because it's not a part of like the whole document flow. It's just its own deal.
Yeah. And so where are those in the HTML again?
They're in div class equals screens at the very bottom.
Very bum. Okay, so you have this screen nav list. So what we could do is this screen nav list. We could say, just to make Chrome happy, contain layouts. And you're going to notice that does absolutely nothing, but it makes you feel good inside. And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
No, it's supposed to basically tell the rendering engine, like, hey, whatever we changed in layout here is not going to affect the external layout outside of this. So any layout changes happen only within here, which is exactly what's happening because we're animating width, and that doesn't really affect anything else.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, you want to keyflect on this a little bit?
Let's keyflect.
All right. Welcome to Keyflections, the part of the show where we quickly review the techniques used to build this animation. If you have any questions, now's a great time to ask in the chat or leave a comment below, and we'll be happy to answer.
Yeah, hey, if you've enjoyed watching this so far, please follow and subscribe here on Twitch or YouTube, or pledge at patreon.com/keyframers, and the links are available below. I actually did the math. On our Patreon, it's based on how many hours we do each month, it's sort of as if we're making $6 an hour, which, if you do the math, that's a little bit below minimum wage. But we still do this out of love and passion for what we do.
Yes, we would love your support over on Patreon, so that you can be a part of this with us and help us out. That's awesome. All right, so this animation is a continuation from last week. We've got the links available there from Music Interaction Animation Origami, which apparently Origami is an app, as David pointed out, and so we expanded upon what we built last time. So we've got this nice little music app. You start out on genre, go into a playlist. You can swipe up and down for all of those. That's great. And then swipe over, and you got the song view. That's all just kind of listed there at the top. And these are all working with gestures. So yeah. What should we cover first? The I guess
let's cover so a lot of what we did in this episode was use those CSS variables to animate the in-between states, which is, as you can see when you're moving left and right, or even up and down, just those, or actually more so just left and right, those little micro animations. And so we already had those last episode, the DX and DY values being populated in the HTML. We're just using those exact same values to adjust the transforms of certain elements, such as the content or the songs, and adjust them by that amount. Now, one key thing you have to remember is that when you're in this in-between state of panning from one state to another, you have to get rid of the transition. And that's so you don't have any out of sync movements. And you want your movements to be perfectly in sync with the CSS variables that you're providing. So again, when you're transitioning between states, remove any transitions and have it based only on panning. And then only when you're in a state where you want things to smoothly go into place, then you add transition back in. And you could just set transition duration to 0 for that.
Right. So quickly we've got a little state machine here that when you're in when you're in all the various states and different actions happen, it transitions to other parts of the state or triggers other actions like panning up and panning down, changing the song. Whenever those touch events are happening, or the pan events are happening, we get dx and dy set, which is the distance the cursor is traveling. And we also set the data panning attribute to whichever direction is being panned, so up or down, left or right, and so we can target based on that. So if it doesn't matter what direction we're panning, we just want we want something based on the dx and dy. We can just look at the data panning attribute. Let's see, we do that. We did that somewhere, I think. Okay, so yeah, like for example, the songs here, just data panning. Whenever we're in the playlist view, we want the songs to move left and right, depending on which way we're going. So that's what this does here. We're just using that dx value times 0.2 pix. And then all of the rotations and things like that are being affected by that as well, so that we get that nice smooth transition. Yeah, so most of that just boils down to math. We're using dx, which is actually the pixel value, and dividing it by some kind of arbitrary number. Ideally, we would set this based on the actual viewport size and do more of like a percentage value from 0 to 1 to make that a little more responsive. But we'll leave that up to the viewer. Yeah. And then what else? Do you want to cover the flipping real quick?
Oh yeah, the flipping is just a tiny little thing. So just like we've done in previous episodes, we're using the flip technique to go between the playlist and song states. You see that case study header and the artist title animating from the center over to the top. And so that's done just by using the flipping library. We have previous episodes where we talk about how to do that manually, but it's quite a bit of setup, which is why we have this nice little library that says whenever we change states, figure out what changed, and we're saying, whenever an element matches data active star, then that element should be the one that's, being flipped. And we're using that to smoothly animate between elements. And so what's interesting is that case study 01 and Stephen Shaw, between the playlist and the song view, those are two completely different elements, but we're giving it the illusion that it's the same elements moving. And yeah, again, we talked about that in previous episodes.
Yes. Yeah, so definitely go back and check that out. But that is just triggered whenever pan end happens. We've got that wrapped in flipping.wrap, so that flipping knows to watch for changes and then animates based on that. So yeah, that's what we got. Oh, and this little nav animation. So that's just in our screen div, so that whenever the pan end happens, it gets a data active attribute on whichever screen you're currently on, and then we are pretty much just animating the color and the width there, to give you that nice little transition.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I think that's all we've got for you guys today, for you all today. Thank you so much for joining us. You've been watching Keyframers. If you've enjoyed this episode and would like to see more from David and I, there are many ways you can support us. First of all, subscribing and participating in these live streams each week is awesome. We love having you chatting with us. You can also like and subscribe at youtube.com/keyframers, where we have all of our archives and some additional content. And pledging at patreon.com/keyframers is huge. So definitely check that out.
Mm-hmm. So I forget who submitted this episode, but or this challenge. But
yes.
Thank you so much. Who was it?
I don't know.
Whoever you are.
Yes.
We'll find you, and we will thank you. We do accept submissions for future episodes, so tweet at Keyframers with any animations you would like to see made, such as this one. You can also present questions or challenges to us, such as make a learning platform with tutorials, apparently, and we will address those suggestions and comments and questions on the air. Also, be sure to share this video and demo across your social platforms.
Yes, greatly appreciate that. That's all we have for you today. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, adios, amigos.
Adios.